Welcome to Revelator Trading. Today we are going to talk about our Pro Analyzer tool. This is actually not an indicator. I know a lot of these types of products are all called indicators. In this case, we have a tool. And what does this tool do? Well, it takes these signals that are generated by our Trend Pro indicator and it analyzes them. And so what that means is basically it tracks how much a trade runs up versus how much a trade draws down. And it creates plots of these runs running up and the running down. So we can see that as we scroll through here. All right, and a trade basically is said to be a winner if it draws up more than it draws down. In this case over here, we have a losing trade because it drew down more than it ran up. And you can see here that the candle color is changing from green to red. I'm actually in a long. It's not looking like it's a great trade, but again, the analyzer helps me manage risk and figure out probabilities. And if I lose this trade, it's just part of the cost of doing business. So we can see here, in fact, we are getting some more signals generated. I'll take a look at those when I'm done with this video. But anyhow, you can see here that it's closing red, and if this candle confirms red, then this signal is considered over with, and it would be categorized as a loser because it ends red. This one here would be categorized as a winner, and so it ends up being green. Now, there is some pretty heavy nuance here because if you were going for a smaller target, you can see at one point in time it drew up more than it drew down. So we'll get into this nuance in other strategy videos. We're just going to do a brief overview here. All right. So in addition to this plot, you'll see there are some targets that are generated, and these are statistically generated to help give better probabilities of getting good, realistic numbers that can be hit. So everybody wants to go for the moon. But this helps you define what that moon might be. Maybe you want to go to the moon versus Mars versus Jupiter versus, infinity and beyond. So this really helps you establish what is realistically possible on a particular asset and a particular time frame. And so you need to actually run this tool on different time frames. So if I wanted to trade UCO on a 4-hour chart, this is going to generate a completely different set of information. Or if I wanted to trade NVIDIA on the 15-minute chart, it's the same time frame, but it's a different asset, and so different statistics will be generated. Over here we have a table, and so on this particular table for my particular settings, it's saying I generated 30 long signals in the look-back period. 15 of those drew up more than it drew down, so obviously you can see here it's a 50% win rate with this particular group of settings. The smallest winning trade won 8 cents per share, of course. The biggest win was $2.11 per share. And then it further breaks that down into how many targets or how many of these winning trades hit at least the first target or better, the second target or better, and the third target or better. And you can see this all lines up with reality. The chances of hitting a home run are a lot smaller than, getting to first base. It's, again, something everybody who's lived for, at least to adulthood should understand. But for some reason, there's a lot of people that just don't get that in this trading space. And so you can see it just as plain as day. I can't fudge these numbers. These numbers are all based off of your settings. And so you don't have to take my word for something having a 50% win rate, a 20% win rate, whatever the case might be. You adjust your settings. You choose how far you want to look back. This will crunch the numbers for you. There's no BS here. So what else can we look at on this in this video? I guess we can take a look at the settings. And so over here, you click this gear. The most important thing when using the Pro Analyzer is to make sure that you're analyzing the signals that you are looking at. And so to do that, you want to make sure that length 1, length 2, and smoothing are all set to your settings that you have on Trend Pro. As you can see here, I'm using 15, 15, and 60. The next thing that you want to do is choose the number of candles to run the analysis on. And so, intuitively, you might think you want to go back as far as you possibly can. But in practice, you actually want to go back with similar price structure. So you could take a stock like NVIDIA that just absolutely skyrocketed. And, it may not continue to skyrocket at the rate it's going. And so, and if you look way further back, I mean, it used to trade much, much lower. And so you really want to run the analysis on similar price structure. And so here I've chosen to go back 1,000 candles. I'm looking at a leveraged oil fund. So it trades, within a pretty consistent range. The next thing to look at is your profit factor. I currently have this set at 1.5. And basically what this means is for every dollar that I'm risking, I'm seeking $1.50 as a reward. And you can obviously change that factor to whatever you might want to do. For the current trade I'm in, I'm actually at a 3.53. And there are some different reasons for that. So we can go into that in deeper dive videos. And then the last thing to look at is your trade direction. I currently have this set at long, and it's looking like, we might have to look at the short side of things. And so you can click short, and then it's going to run its calculation, as you can see here. And we will give it just a brief moment to do that. That's kind of based off of how much load TradingView has on their servers, as well as your internet speed. So we will sit here and wait, and hopefully all of that will match up. Sometimes you will get a timeout error. In this case, we didn't. Now you'll see here, the colors change, and this allows you to know when you see yellow and purple that you're thinking about the short side of the trade. And you can see for the last 1,000 candles, shorting oil has definitely been pretty juicy. So I'm looking here at a reversal. You can see our pro momentum video as for some clues onto why I was seeking a reversal trade in here. So you can see a winning short ends yellow and a losing short ends purple. All right, so I think that covers everything on a high level on what the Pro Analyzer is and the basics of how to use it. In other videos, we will dive deeply into the nuance because there is plenty of it there. So like these numbers might not seem like a whole lot, but really it just depends on, did you get stopped out? Did you, just set a stop loss and let the trade run? In that case, if you shorted here, you're going to make a lot more profit if you stayed in the trade than if you had gotten out on a color change or if you just hit one of these profit targets. So there's some nuance there. We'll get into that in other videos. So if you have any questions on the analyzer or any of our indicators, be sure to reach out to us and we'll be happy to try to help you understand. So we'll see you in the next video.